Hello there, I'm the student and yeah, you've probably already saw the video title and the thumbnail, so let's just get right into the video topic, which is of course the Cossack Breakaway Nation. And for that I would recommend you to start as Lithuania and give out a few privileges to the Cossacks on day 1 of the campaign, such as the Cossack land rights, the Cossacks exploration expeditions, then as well establish the Cossack regiments privilege. Then you should close this window and open it again, because then you'll notice that there is another privilege which is called expand the Cossack regiments, which gives them additional 5% crown land. Then you should take this privilege, recruit Cossack leaders for 10% influence, and then you should give out the legalize the Cossacks raids privilege as the last one. Then you should have 85% Cossacks influence and 50% loyalty. What you do now is you seize land, which will not affect the Cossacks' land, because I have given out the one that exempts them from seize land, but that gives you 5% more crown that you can now partially sell to the Cossacks, which will give them 6.4% crown land. Now, at this point, you could also click the Lithuanian mission, whatever, but now you should have 3 decisions open to take from the Cossacks estate, and it is very important that you click them in the right order, because as you can see, those 2 over there can only be clicked if they have 50 or higher loyalty, as the first one can be clicked anyways without that. And that means that you will click first the one that loses them 10 loyalty, which will then of course still be at 50, which means that then you can take the third one for minus 15 loyalty as well as 10 influence that you were missing, of course. And then last but not least, you can click the first decision, which gives them another minus 15 loyalty. And then you should end up with around 101% Cossacks influence as well as 20 Cossacks loyalty. And if for some reason the influence should go below 100, then you can always summon the Diet for another 5% influence. And while we're waiting for the first month to pass by, if you get some events for the estates, which you probably will, then you should also, of course, always click the option where the Cossacks gain influence and lose loyalty. And then in December the 1st, 1444, you should be having the Cossacks independence disaster start ticking with plus 2.5% each month. Just to say it, I have actually missed to record this setup in the first place, which is why in my actual game that disaster went a little different, but in terms of time, as you can see, it will start in 1448, so this is no problem. And now let's start into the Cossacks independence. Okay, and then if you are at the point in which you're going to trigger that disaster on the next month, as in my case over here, I'm going to trigger it in the next day, 2 days actually, after the month tick, then you should of course develop provinces. And you have to notice that the Cossacks nations prefer certain province types to be chosen to defect from. One of which is the terrain type of steppes terrain, which they prefer to choose. Another one is that they prefer to choose provinces in the East Slavic culture group. Yeah, and then they prefer provinces that have below 10 development. And you notice I have no points already because I've devved this province up, as you can see, 4 times. And as it seems, I of course have done it so that it ends up at 9 development, because 9 development will be still preferred to be taken. And same goes for Kiev. I don't know if they reach so far, but I'm going to talk about that in a second as well. You see, they start up with 10 development, but I just exploited a base tax to make it 9, so that is also more likely to be chosen, because it is obviously a trade center level 2, so it would be really nice if I have that. And you notice that I have released Zaporizhzhia over here, which is actually the same Sigrada government type, but you have to keep in mind that he has only 3 provinces down in the south of Lithuania, so you don't want to place this 3 province minor under a subject, as a subject of Lithuania, of course, which the Cossacks won't be. So the Cossacks' independence is still way stronger to get this government type. And also I have released them right now, because I just, you can see this is not my core, this is Zaporizhzhia's core, as well as this province over here, because I fed those provinces to them. I seized them back just a second ago, because I of course want to have them elected for the Cossacks nation. But the thing is, if you don't have any steppe provinces, as you can see there are only 4 steppe provinces in entire Lithuania, right? And I gave all of them to Zaporizhzhia over here, which then made me have 0 steppe provinces. And you can see that the Cossacks influence modifier over there on top says 51% from crown land and 10% from steppe lands. And that is basically a modifier that you get if you have at least 1 steppe province, as I have right now in this one. And if you have in total 10 provinces. So if I gave that province away as I had earlier, this modifier won't be there anymore. And if you have a look, for example, on that decision over there, you can see that the Cossacks have right now 106% influence, right? So he is 6 over. Which means that without that 10% modifier, he would be below 100%. And I used that fact to prolong that disaster from happening. I wanted to have it right now, not earlier, because I have taken every single Tech 4 that is available right now, of course, in admin, mil, and diplo. And this makes me right now the best developed nation from technology in the entire game. But of course my Cossack nation will overtake my technologies and therefore will not be behind, even though that he's of course starting with 0 mana in the bank. Okay, and that is now the moment that I'm going to let the month pass by. Of course, always save the game, because you don't know what happens. Yeah, let's just see what happens in this case. The Cossacks break free, which is basically the start and the end of the Cossacks independence disaster. And you can see I can now just play as Lithuania, as you can see, but I can also of course play as the Cossack nation. And now you can also see that this Cossack nation will get 28 provinces of Lithuania, of this Lithuania. Just for the record, you notice I have only 45 provinces, right? So they are getting half of my country. In fact, they are not getting half of my country, they are getting 50.6% of my country. And that is also why I wanted to prolong this after 1449, because then of course I could sell titles twice. And in the meantime I actually took the estates statutory rights to take land off of the other estates and get land to myself. And as I gave out the establish of Cossack regiments privilege over here, the Cossacks didn't lose any land off of that, because it exempts them from this land, and also it exempts them from this privilege. And then when I sell titles in 1449 the second time, that was actually, as you can see down there, 8% crown land that I sold directly to the Cossacks, because they were by far the biggest portion already. And that makes them right now, with all of those privileges, of course, that gave them crown land, more than 50% of my crown land owned by them. And that actually directly impacts the amount of provinces that they get. And this means that I am now going to click that decision, that option, the steps are calling me, the one step province is calling me for that matter, which will give me literally 28 provinces from day one. And actually, funnily enough, I'm actually called Smolenskas, such as my capital, which is Smolensk apparently. Not to say that it's actually not the real Smolensk, of course. But anyways, you can see I've took half of the country of Lithuania right now. I am huge. I am of course tag 4 in every category. And of course I am fully independent, and I don't have a truce with Lithuania, as you can see. I have no truce with them, but they actually do have a truce with me. So it is a perfect situation to go totally crazy right now. Of course, I also start with, already 6k armies and 11k manpower, which is actually a lot if you think about that. Because if you play as a released subject, such as Zaporizhia over here, you can see they start with 0 manpower, of course, and 0 troops. So that is also extremely way better. Then I also, of course, start as the special Republican type of Cossacks Republic, basically, which is called Sigrada. And this gives me already minus 20% cavalry cost, plus 20% cavalry combat ability, plus 25% cav to infantry ratio, which means that I can run 75% of my army as cavalry already. On top of that, it gives me 50 governing capacity and Cossacks force limit faction plus 25%. And of course, this government type also allows me to raise provinces, which is, in my opinion, totally insane, along with the fact that you can see it enables you to take plutocratic and horde ideas. I am also determined to have the Cossacks estate even without the steppe province. So if I had to given that away as Lithuania, I would still have the Cossacks estate, because I'm after all the Cossacks nation, and of course I'm starting with extremely high crown land, which I'm now going to use to empower the Cossacks even further for an additional cavalry combat ability and cav cost. There is a little downside to the breakaway nation of the Janissaries that I've talked about in another video, of course, which is that I don't get random customized ideas. Instead, I'm getting a special idea set, which is called Cossacks Ideas, and it gives me quite some okay bonuses, but of course I'm not going to keep those ideas until the end of the game, so it doesn't really matter that much. Start up with -2 unrest and 25% looting speed, and then manpower at the first, and so on. I can just go through them. They are not bad, but those late ones don't matter that much. I still get a completely randomized flag of my country, which in this case even almost makes sense, because I'm of course Orthodox, as I was released in Orthodox provinces. And this is how you can become a huge Cossack nation that is extremely far ahead on tech on everyone else, with an insanely strong government type that even has unique government abilities, with 100% crown land and the Cossacks estate as well, and a kingdom government rank, and all of that already in 1450. So I hope you enjoyed this little video where I talk about the Cossack Breakaway Nation. I could of course continue that campaign, so if you want me to continue this campaign, just let me know in the comments, and as always we are going to see in the next video.